Active, unsettled, wet, and stormy. That is the first week of May, and with that, let's tell you about it in this Thursday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Hi there, I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy and Chief David Reimer. It's Thursday, the 1st of May, 2025, and you know what? Any day in May we're not having a tornado outbreak is a pretty good day, and I have good news. We're not going to have a tornado outbreak today, so it's a good day. In fact, we're looking at a less active day across the state of Texas with the opportunity for a couple of isolated scattered thunderstorms across central parts of the state. Near an outflow boundary left over from storms yesterday. But as we go into tonight, we could see some storms in Texoma, North Texas, Northeast Texas, the Red River Valley, and then tomorrow we're looking more active with more numerous thunderstorms with heavy rain returning to parts of the state. Let's take a look at the high-res rapid refresh model for today, tonight, into Friday. You can see a couple of those isolated thunderstorms. Could have some storms moving into the Edwards Plateau from northern Mexico this afternoon and evening. Those would have the threat of very large hail and damaging winds along with heavy rain. Going into this afternoon and evening as well, a couple of isolated storms in central Texas, the Brazos Valley, maybe into the hill country in East Texas. Any storms we get, again, could have the potential for some large hail, localized damaging wind gusts. Then going into this evening, the potential for some of those storms along the Red River Valley, Northwest Texas, Texoma, Northeast Texas, but we think most of the activity will be north of the Red River in Oklahoma, where more numerous thunderstorms are expected. Going into Friday morning, afternoon, and evening, you can see we're going to have the radar light up like a good old Christmas tree. As activity moves south of the Red River, we see a bit of a frontal boundary or an outflow boundary, kind of like yesterday, except we're also going to have plenty of lift and moisture across the southern half of the state. You can see a big old cluster of storms all the way from the Concho Valley, Edwards Plateau, through the hill country, central Texas, the Brazos Valley, East Texas. That activity slowly moving south tomorrow afternoon and evening. The most intense storms could produce very large hail, localized damaging wind gusts, maybe a spin-up tornado or two, heavy rain with a risk of flooding. With that, we're going to see activity move towards the Texas Gulf Coast into the Golden Triangle, southeast Texas, the coastal plains, the coastal bend, South Texas, tomorrow night into Saturday morning. Taking a look at the flash flood outlook for tomorrow, you can see the Weather Prediction Center does have a fairly large area of risk highlighted for the potential of additional flash flooding all the way from the southern Permian Basin, the Edwards Plateau, across the Concho Valley, the hill country, through south central Texas, North Texas, Texoma, northeast Texas, the Arklatex, the Brazos Valley, East Texas, the Toledo Bend Reservoir, the Piney Woods of East Texas, southeast Texas, into the Golden Triangle, and the coastal plains. We may see a portion of this risk upgraded as we go further, where confidence increases further, that we could have more numerous instances of flash flooding. But as we've seen this week, it is not taking as much rain now to cause flooding, as many areas are starting to see saturated soils and increased runoff into streams, creeks, and reservoirs. But hey, you know what? It beats being in extreme to exceptional drought, which several parts of the state still are. So we need the rain, and we need a lot of that water to start flowing into some of the reservoirs, especially in areas where they are still running below 20% capacity. Heading into the longer range, the American Weather Model, the Global Forecast System, guess what? We're going to remain unsettled and active going through next week. Maybe a couple storms in the Trans-Pecos, Permian Basin, West Texas on Saturday. Going into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we're going to start to see an uptick in thunderstorm chances across New Mexico, the Panhandle, West Texas, into the Permian Basin, as we see an upper-level storm system kind of set up over the four corners of the southwestern United States. It's just going to kind of stall out and sit there, leaving us in a southerly flow aloft and at the surface. That's just going to pump tropical moisture in from the Gulf, resulting in multiple rounds of essentially thunderstorm chances. A lot of heavy rain going into next week across the state of Texas. This model goes through Tuesday. Guess what? Wednesday and Thursday of next week, it still looks like we're going to see more heavy rain across several parts of the state of Texas, meaning we could be dealing with some strong to severe storms, but also a renewed threat of widespread multi-inch rains across Texas and a threat of flooding. Now, for some folks who haven't really had rain yet this spring, that is going to be great news. For y'all who have already had over a foot of rain in the last week, that's not so great news, but we'll get through it. But clearly, since I've said but about 15 million times now, like the novice I am, guess what? It's going to rain next week with multiple chances for showers and storms. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to rain every single minute of every single day where you are in Texas, but we're probably going to have plenty to talk about going into next week. Here's forecast rain totals from the Weather Prediction Center through Monday. Now, these are just, regionalized average numbers. Some folks are going to get far less. Some folks, you could get 2 to 3 times as much in the span of 6 hours if you end up under a heavy storm. But through Monday, we're looking at, on average, about 1.5 to 4 inches of rain. The Panhandle, West Texas, the Permian Basin, Northwest Texas. Do I have to sneeze? Merry Christmas. Maybe it'll wash some of those allergies away. And some of y'all in West Texas and the Panhandle will end up having some flooding threat. Notice a little minimum of rain noted in the big country North Texas. We'll see. Truthfully, we'll see. These will change, and don't, get hung up on exactly what zone you're under. The clear indication here is even parts of the borderland have a chance of rain going into the weekend next week. So nearly all of Texas, if not the entire state, should have at least some rain chances over the next 5 days. And beyond this map lights up like a Christmas tree going into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So we're looking at the potential for a couple to several inches of rain all the way from the Edwards Plateau through the Hill Country, Central Texas, South Central Texas, the Brazos Valley, East Texas, Southeast Texas. And then again, as we continue on beyond the 5th of May, we go through the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th of May. Guess what? Climate Prediction Center is highlighting a pretty decent chance for above average precipitation chances across the entire state of Texas, into the plains, and even parts of the southwestern United States, Florida. Below average precipitation chances up into the mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, and northeastern United States. So we'll just keep on doing what we're doing here, and that is keeping an eye on the sky. You can do that with the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers where you download apps to your device. You can also find us on the web, TexasStormChasers.com. Couple of severe storms possible going through today, this evening, Central Texas, the Hill Country, the Brazos Valley, into the Edwards Plateau. Tonight, parts of the Red River Valley, Northwest Texas, Texoma, Northeast Texas. We could have some hailers encroach from Oklahoma. And then tomorrow, with that big old band of storms all the way from the Edwards Plateau, the Concho Valley, the Hill Country east, through Central Texas, the Brazos Valley, Southeast Texas. Some of those storms, in addition to producing very heavy rain, lightning, and flooding, may also be capable of producing hail, gusty winds, and maybe a spin-up tornado. We'll keep an eye on things, and we'll be back bright and early with your next edition of the Texas Weather Roundup tomorrow, Friday, the 2nd of May. Y'all have a great Thursday, and as always, God bless.